Welcome to WiserReads, where we explore the most powerful ideas from books that can transform your life. Today, we dive into Atomic Habits by James Clear, a groundbreaking book that reveals how tiny changes can lead to remarkable results. If you've ever struggled with sticking to a habit, breaking a bad one, or simply want to improve your daily life, this book is a roadmap to success. James Clear introduces the concept of atomic habits, small, incremental actions that over time compound into significant improvements. Unlike big dramatic changes, these habits are tiny and often overlooked, yet their cumulative effect is enormous. Clear emphasizes that success doesn't come from willpower alone. It comes from designing your environment, shaping your identity, and making good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. In this video, we'll uncover the 4 key laws of behavior change that James Clear outlines. You'll learn practical strategies for building new habits, breaking unproductive patterns, and making consistent progress toward your goals. From the power of starting small with the 2-minute rule to leveraging your social environment for motivation, every insight in this book is actionable and backed by science. By the end of this summary, you'll understand how tiny adjustments in your routines can transform your life in ways you never imagined. Whether it's health, productivity, relationships, or personal growth, Atomic Habits offers a clear blueprint to becoming the person you aspire to be. So, if you're ready to learn how small daily improvements can lead to extraordinary results, stay tuned. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more insightful book summaries on WiserReads, helping you unlock wisdom one page at a time.
The fundamentals: why tiny changes make a big difference. The surprising power of atomic habits. James Clear explains that small, consistent changes, what he calls atomic habits, can create remarkable results over time. Instead of focusing solely on ambitious goals, Clear emphasizes the power of tiny improvements, showing how just 1% progress each day compounds into massive long-term growth. Clear highlights that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Success is rarely the result of a single breakthrough. It emerges from daily choices, repeated consistently. He also introduces a key insight. Real change comes from focusing on your identity, not just outcomes. By shaping the type of person you want to become, rather than obsessing over a specific goal, you naturally align your habits with that identity, making good behaviors easier and bad ones harder. The book underscores that environment and context often matter more than motivation. By making good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying, you increase the likelihood of following through. Conversely, removing cues for bad habits can break unwanted patterns. Ultimately, Clear's message is empowering. Anyone can transform their life, not through massive effort, but through small, consistent, intentional actions. Atomic habits, though tiny, have the power to reshape your identity and your future.
How your habits shape your identity, and vice versa. In this chapter, James Clear explores the deep connection between habits and identity, showing that the most effective way to change your behavior is to focus on who you wish to become, rather than what you want to achieve. Goals are about the results you want to see, but identity is about the type of person you believe you are. When your habits align with your desired identity, they become automatic and sustainable. Clear introduces the idea of identity-based habits, where behavior change starts from small wins that reinforce your sense of self. For example, instead of saying, "I want to run a marathon," you adopt the identity of a runner by committing to daily runs. Each action then becomes evidence supporting your new identity, creating a positive feedback loop. This approach flips the traditional model of habit formation. Rather than relying solely on motivation or willpower, you shape your habits to reflect the person you want to become. Over time, these consistent small behaviors solidify into a self-image that naturally supports your long-term goals. Ultimately, lasting change isn't about achieving a target. It's about embodying the identity that drives those habits every day.
How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. In this chapter, James Clear explains that habits are formed through a simple 4-step process: cue, craving, response, and reward. Understanding these steps allows you to design habits that stick and break those that don't. Cue. This is the trigger that initiates a habit. It can be anything in your environment, such as a time of day, location, or preceding action. Clear emphasizes that making cues obvious helps you start good habits automatically. Craving, the motivational force behind a habit. We perform actions not for the habit itself, but for the satisfaction or desire it promises. Making habits attractive increases the likelihood of following through. Response, the actual behavior you perform. Clear highlights that reducing friction and making habits easy encourages consistency. Even starting small, like using the 2-minute rule, can overcome procrastination and build momentum. Reward, the benefit or pleasure you gain from the habit. Reinforcing positive outcomes makes habits satisfying and strengthens repetition. By mastering these 4 steps, you can systematically build new habits, break bad ones, and create lasting change. Small, intentional adjustments to cues, cravings, responses, and rewards compound into remarkable results over time.
The first law: make it obvious. The man who didn't look right. In this chapter, James Clear illustrates the power of awareness and observation in habit formation by telling the story of a man whose subtle behaviors revealed deeper patterns. The key lesson is that habits often operate under the radar, unnoticed until we pay close attention. Many people struggle to change because they focus only on willpower or motivation, ignoring the cues and signals that trigger their behaviors. Clear emphasizes the importance of making habits obvious. By designing your environment to highlight positive cues and hide negative ones, you can influence behavior without relying on discipline alone. Simple adjustments, such as placing your workout clothes where you see them or leaving your phone in another room, can significantly increase the likelihood of following through with good habits. The chapter also introduces the idea that small, consistent observations can reveal patterns that lead to meaningful change. By noticing subtle cues and responses in your daily life, you gain insight into your habits and can redesign them to support your goals. Ultimately, this story reinforces a central theme of atomic habits. Lasting change doesn't require radical action. It begins with small, deliberate tweaks in your environment and awareness, guiding your habits toward better outcomes.
The best way to start a new habit. In this chapter, James Clear explains that the key to starting a new habit is making it simple and actionable. Many people fail because they focus on ambitious goals or abstract intentions rather than concrete behaviors. Clear introduces the implementation intention strategy, a formula that specifies when, where, and how you will perform a habit. For example, instead of saying, "I'll exercise more," you say, "I will do 20 push-ups at 7 a.m. in my living room." This clarity removes ambiguity and increases follow-through. Clear also emphasizes the importance of habit stacking, which links a new habit to an existing routine. By anchoring new behaviors to something you already do, you make the habit obvious and easier to remember. For instance, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. Leverages your established habit as a cue. The chapter underscores that starting small is powerful. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Even tiny actions, consistently repeated, can create momentum. By using implementation intentions, habit stacking, and small steps, you dramatically increase the chances of building lasting habits. Ultimately, the best way to start a new habit is clear, specific, and simple, so taking action becomes almost automatic.
Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. In this chapter, James Clear explains that relying solely on motivation is often ineffective because motivation fluctuates. Instead, he argues that environment is the hidden driver of behavior. The cues and context around us shape our habits far more reliably than willpower or determination. By designing an environment that supports good habits and discourages bad ones, you make success easier and more consistent. Clear emphasizes that small changes in your surroundings can have a disproportionate impact. For instance, placing healthy snacks on the counter and hiding junk food can naturally guide your choices without relying on self-control. Similarly, arranging your workspace to make productive behaviors convenient increases the likelihood of following through. The chapter also introduces the principle of choice architecture, structuring your environment so that good behaviors are obvious and convenient, while bad behaviors are hidden or inconvenient. By doing so, habits become automatic and require less effort. Ultimately, Clear's key insight is that motivation is unreliable, but your environment is always influencing your actions. By intentionally shaping your surroundings, you can make positive habits easier, negative habits harder, and create lasting behavioral change with minimal reliance on willpower.
The secret to self-control. In this chapter, James Clear challenges the common belief that self-control is about sheer willpower. Instead, he argues that the key to self-control lies in managing your environment, not your motivation. Willpower is limited and can be depleted, but if you remove temptations and design your surroundings wisely, you reduce the need to resist impulses altogether. Clear emphasizes that self-control works best when bad habits are made invisible and inconvenient, while good habits are made obvious and easy. For example, if you want to stop checking social media, deleting apps or moving your phone out of reach can prevent mindless scrolling. Conversely, placing your gym clothes where you see them makes exercising more likely. The chapter highlights that avoiding temptation is more effective than resisting it. People who consistently practice self-control often do so by structuring their environment to minimize exposure to triggers, rather than relying on internal discipline alone. Ultimately, the secret to self-control is proactive design. By shaping your environment to support positive behaviors and limit negative ones, you make good habits automatic and reduce the need for constant effort. Sustainable change comes not from fighting urges, but from removing the battles entirely.
The second law, make it attractive. How to make a habit irresistible. In this chapter, James Clear explains that the more attractive a habit is, the more likely we are to perform it consistently. Habits become irresistible when they tap into our natural cravings and are associated with positive emotions. Clear introduces the concept of temptation bundling, which links a habit you want to form with an activity you enjoy. For example, only allowing yourself to watch your favorite show while exercising makes the habit more appealing.
The chapter emphasizes that human behavior is largely driven by anticipation of reward. By making the cue and the craving attractive, you increase the likelihood of following through. Marketing and social influence play a role. Seeing others engage in positive habits or framing behaviors in a desirable way can motivate us to act similarly. Clear also stresses the importance of reinforcing identity through attractive habits. When you associate habits with the type of person you want to be, performing them feels rewarding because it aligns with your self-image. Ultimately, making a habit irresistible isn't about willpower. It's about designing it to be appealing and rewarding. By leveraging natural human desires and linking habits to positive experiences, you can increase consistency and make lasting change easier than ever.
The role of family and friends in shaping your habits. In this chapter, James Clear highlights how social environment profoundly influences our habits. Our behaviors are shaped not only by personal choices, but also by the people we spend time with. Humans are inherently social creatures. We tend to imitate the habits, attitudes, and behaviors of those around us. This can either help or hinder our progress depending on the group we align with. Clear explains that joining groups where the desired behavior is the norm makes adopting good habits easier. For example, being part of a running club or a professional network encourages consistency because positive behaviors are modeled and reinforced socially. Conversely, being surrounded by negative influences can reinforce bad habits, making change more difficult. The chapter emphasizes the importance of peer pressure in a positive way. Aligning yourself with people who reflect the habits and identity you aspire to have can naturally guide your actions. It's not about forcing conformity, but about creating an environment where desired behaviors feel normal and attractive. Ultimately, the social circle you choose acts as a powerful force in habit formation. By surrounding yourself with supportive, like-minded people, you leverage social influence to make good habits easier and bad habits harder, creating lasting, positive change. The third law: make it easy. Walk slowly, but never backward. In this chapter, James Clear emphasizes that progress, no matter how small, is the key to long-term success. Consistency matters more than speed or intensity when it comes to building habits. Small incremental improvements compound over time, producing remarkable results, much like compound interest in finance. The idea is not to make giant leaps, but to ensure you are moving forward, even slowly. Clear introduces the concept of continuous improvement, which focuses on making tiny adjustments to daily routines. For example, reading 1 page a day or doing 1 push-up may seem insignificant, but over months and years, these small actions lead to substantial growth. The chapter underscores that setbacks are natural, but what matters is maintaining forward momentum rather than striving for perfection. Clear also emphasizes tracking progress and celebrating small wins. Recognizing even minor achievements reinforces habits, builds motivation, and solidifies identity. Ultimately, the chapter teaches that success doesn't require radical transformations overnight. By prioritizing consistent, incremental steps, walking slowly but never backward, you harness the power of compounding habits. The key is persistence. Forward motion, no matter how small, eventually leads to extraordinary results. The law of least effort. In this chapter, James Clear explains that human behavior naturally follows the path of least resistance. We tend to choose actions that require the least effort, which means the easier a habit is, the more likely we are to perform it consistently. Conversely, habits that are inconvenient or difficult are easily avoided, even if we have strong intentions or motivation. Clear emphasizes that the key to building lasting habits is reducing friction for good behaviors and increasing friction for bad ones. For example, making healthy foods easy to access and placing unhealthy foods out of reach encourages better choices automatically. Similarly, simplifying steps for desired behaviors, like keeping a water bottle on your desk or prepping workout clothes in advance, makes it effortless to follow through. The chapter also highlights that habits are more likely to stick when they require minimal energy or thought, allowing consistency to build naturally over time. By designing your environment and routines around ease, you remove reliance on willpower and make good habits almost automatic. Ultimately, the law of least effort shows that small adjustments in convenience and friction can dramatically influence behavior, enabling consistent progress and compounding improvements toward your long-term goals.
How to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. In this chapter, James Clear introduces the 2-minute rule, a simple strategy to overcome procrastination and make habits stick. The rule states, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The idea is to make starting so easy that you eliminate excuses and inertia. For example, instead of committing to an hour of reading, start by reading just 1 page. Instead of a full workout, begin with putting on your gym shoes. Clear emphasizes that starting is the hardest part of any habit. Once you take the first small step, momentum builds and it becomes easier to continue. The 2-minute rule leverages this psychological principle, making habits approachable and reducing the intimidation of large tasks. The chapter also highlights that the focus should be on showing up, not on immediate results. By prioritizing action over perfection, you gradually develop consistency, which compounds into significant progress over time. Ultimately, the 2-minute rule is a practical tool to defeat procrastination, build momentum, and make habit formation almost effortless. Small, consistent actions, no matter how brief, lay the foundation for lasting behavioral change.
How to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. In this chapter, James Clear explains how to lock in good habits and eliminate bad ones by leveraging the power of commitment devices and environment design. A commitment device is a choice you make in the present that locks in future behavior. By setting up systems that make desired actions automatic and undesired actions difficult, you remove the need for constant willpower. For example, preparing healthy meals in advance makes it easier to eat well, while canceling a junk food subscription or removing apps from your phone makes unhealthy behaviors harder. Clear emphasizes that reducing friction for good habits and increasing friction for bad ones is the most effective way to ensure lasting change. The chapter also introduces strategies like automation, using tools and technology to make good habits seamless. Setting up automatic savings, scheduling workouts, or using timers and reminders ensures you stick to positive behaviors without relying on motivation. Ultimately, Clear's message is that discipline is not about fighting temptation endlessly. It's about structuring your environment so the right behaviors become inevitable and the wrong ones nearly impossible. By designing systems that support your goals, you create a lifestyle where success happens naturally.
The 4th law, make it satisfying.
The cardinal rule of behavior change. In this chapter, James Clear introduces the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated, and what is immediately punished is avoided. Human behavior is strongly shaped by instant feedback. While goals often focus on long-term results, habits are reinforced by short-term satisfaction. This is why bad habits like eating junk food or scrolling on social media are so hard to break. They provide immediate pleasure, even if the long-term consequences are harmful. To build good habits, Clear emphasizes the importance of making them immediately satisfying. Adding small rewards, celebrating progress, or using visual trackers can create a sense of accomplishment that motivates consistency. Conversely, to eliminate bad habits, you can add an element of immediate discomfort or cost, such as accountability systems or penalties, which discourage the behavior. The chapter also highlights the role of delayed gratification. While long-term rewards like health or financial freedom are powerful, they're often too distant to influence daily actions. By pairing them with short-term reinforcements, you bridge the gap between present and future benefits. Ultimately, the cardinal rule reminds us that habits thrive on instant feedback. By making good behaviors satisfying and bad ones costly, lasting change becomes far more achievable.
How to stick with good habits every day. In this chapter, James Clear explains that the key to maintaining good habits daily is tracking progress and maintaining consistency. Habits are easier to sustain when you can see evidence of your growth. Clear introduces habit tracking as a simple yet powerful method. Marking an X on a calendar, logging workouts, or using an app to visualize progress. This creates a visual cue that reinforces your identity and provides immediate satisfaction, motivating you to keep going. Clear emphasizes the importance of the "don't break the chain" strategy. Even if your effort on a given day is small, showing up consistently keeps the momentum alive. Missing once is normal, but missing twice is dangerous. It can quickly spiral into abandoning the habit. The chapter also stresses the value of accountability. Sharing your progress with a friend, group, or community adds social reinforcement that strengthens commitment. Ultimately, sticking with good habits every day isn't about perfection, but about persistence. By tracking progress, celebrating small wins, and focusing on consistency rather than intensity, you build resilience. Over time, these repeated daily actions compound, transforming simple routines into powerful, identity-defining habits that endure.
How an accountability partner can change everything. In this chapter, James Clear highlights the power of accountability partners in creating and sustaining habits. While motivation and willpower are limited, social support provides a reliable external force that keeps us consistent. An accountability partner is someone who checks in on your progress, holds you responsible, and encourages follow-through, making it harder to skip positive behaviors or give in to bad habits. Clear emphasizes that accountability works best when it is specific, measurable, and visible. Simply telling someone you want to exercise more is less effective than committing to a concrete action, like, I will run 3 times this week and I will report my progress to my partner every evening. The act of sharing your goals creates social pressure that motivates action, while also providing encouragement when obstacles arise. The chapter also notes that accountability partners can offer advice, feedback, and emotional support, making habit formation easier and more enjoyable. By pairing consistency with social reinforcement, habits become harder to break and more likely to stick over time. Ultimately, Clear shows that lasting change is rarely achieved in isolation. By enlisting the support of an accountability partner, you transform personal goals into shared commitments, making success more achievable and habits far more resilient.
Advanced tactics: how to go from being merely good to truly great. The truth about talent, when genes matter and when they don't. In this chapter, James Clear explores the interplay between talent, genetics, and habits, clarifying that while genes influence our natural predispositions, consistent habits are what determine long-term success. Clear argues that individuals excel when they focus on areas aligned with their natural strengths, but even talent alone is insufficient without deliberate practice and effective routines. The chapter emphasizes the concept of matching habits to your natural abilities. For example, a naturally energetic person may thrive in high-intensity sports, while a detail-oriented individual may excel in analytical tasks. Aligning habits with inherent strengths accelerates progress and makes practice more enjoyable. Clear also highlights that deliberate practice and consistency outweigh innate talent. Even gifted individuals can stagnate without the daily systems that reinforce growth, while average individuals can achieve remarkable results through persistent effort. Ultimately, the chapter teaches that genes set the potential, but habits unlock it. By identifying your natural tendencies and designing habits that leverage them, you maximize your capabilities and create sustainable improvement. Success is rarely about luck or pure talent. It is the result of consistent, aligned actions compounded over time.
The Goldilocks Rule: How to Stay Motivated in Life and Work. In this chapter, James Clear introduces the Goldilocks Rule, which states that humans stay motivated when working on tasks that are just the right level of difficulty, neither too easy nor too hard. Tasks that are too simple lead to boredom, while tasks that are too difficult lead to frustration. Motivation thrives when challenges stretch your abilities slightly beyond your current level, creating a sense of growth and accomplishment. Clear emphasizes that progress and mastery are deeply satisfying, and the brain releases positive reinforcement when we make small, consistent improvements. By designing habits and routines that push you just beyond your comfort zone, you maintain engagement and motivation over time. The chapter also highlights the importance of feedback and measurable progress. Seeing incremental improvements reinforces effort and encourages persistence. Combining the right level of challenge with clear feedback ensures you stay in a flow state where performance and satisfaction peak. Ultimately, the Goldilocks Rule teaches that staying motivated isn't about waiting for bursts of willpower. It's about structuring tasks to be optimally challenging, tracking progress, and embracing continuous improvement. By doing so, you maintain momentum and achieve lasting growth in life and work. The Goldilocks Rule: How to Stay Motivated in Life and Work. In this chapter, James Clear introduces the Goldilocks Rule, which states that humans stay motivated when working on tasks that are just the right level of difficulty, neither too easy nor too hard. Tasks that are too simple lead to boredom, while tasks that are too difficult lead to frustration. Motivation thrives when challenges stretch your abilities slightly beyond your current level, creating a sense of growth and accomplishment. Clear emphasizes that progress and mastery are deeply satisfying, and the brain releases positive reinforcement when we make small, consistent improvements. By designing habits and routines that push you just beyond your comfort zone, you maintain engagement and motivation over time. The chapter also highlights the importance of feedback and measurable progress. Seeing incremental improvements reinforces effort and encourages persistence. Combining the right level of challenge with clear feedback ensures you stay in a flow state where performance and satisfaction peak. Ultimately, the Goldilocks rule teaches that staying motivated isn't about waiting for bursts of willpower. It's about structuring tasks to be optimally challenging, tracking progress, and embracing continuous improvement. By doing so, you maintain momentum and achieve lasting growth in life and work.
Listening to Atomic Habits by James Clear reminds us that lasting change doesn't come from sudden breakthroughs, but from small, consistent actions. Every tiny habit, no matter how insignificant it seems, compounds over time to create remarkable results. The book teaches that success isn't just about motivation or willpower. It's about designing your environment, aligning habits with your identity, and making good behaviors easy, attractive, and satisfying. By focusing on who you want to become rather than just what you want to achieve, you can build habits that reinforce your ideal self. From the power of the 2-minute rule to the importance of accountability partners, Clear gives actionable strategies to make habits stick and eliminate unproductive behaviors. If there's one message to take away, it's this: small steps taken consistently will transform your life in ways you can't imagine. If you enjoyed this summary and want to unlock more wisdom from the world's best books, join the WiserReads community. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so every week you can grow, learn, and take one step closer to becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, your journey to wisdom starts with a single habit.